Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Frankly Speaking Sports on this great Monday night. It's so good to have everybody with us this evening. I want to thank you so very much for joining us on this Monday night football edition of Frankly Speaking. It's great. Sometimes without a Sunday game, it just feels like something was missing this weekend. We're coming off a win. It seems like the win against the Raiders was so long ago when really it was just a couple of days ago. What was it? 8 days ago? So happy Halloween, happy turn clock back at clock days, happy election day, everything you want to call it tonight. Welcome to Frankly Speaking Sports. And the first thing we want to do before we get started here today, obviously we have a lot to go over. We got a big game tonight. Our Tampa Bay Buccaneers are taking on the New York Giants, who have not been playing very well today. And, obviously the big thing tonight is not having a letdown. And we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes, about a couple other things as well. Also, we're going to have a little bit later in the show, we're going to have Charles Rome's unbelievable player a cornerback for the Buffalo Bills in the late 70s, mid-80s, should be in the Hall of Fame. Not sure why he isn't. The guy played in every single game for the Buffalo Bills during his career, and he will be joining us live a little bit later in the show to talk about the Buffalo Bills and the quick start that they have gotten off to in the AFC East and the early Christmas gift they got by Tom Brady leaving the AFC East. So we'll talk about those things as well. We're also going to go ahead and talk about this incident that happened yesterday in the Chicago Bears game and the New Orleans Saints game. And we're going to break a lot down. We'll go ahead. We'll take some comments. We'll be on to 8 o'clock, and we're going to be talking as much as we can in regards to definitely the game coming up tonight. But before we do that, for those of you who's been through a lot this week, forgot what happened the last couple of days, let's go ahead and let's remind you and show you the highlights of our great win versus the Las Vegas Raiders just about 8 days ago.
Yeah, baby. Here we go.
COVID dominated the storylines over the course of the week for the Las Vegas Raiders, but 4 of their 5 normal starting offensive linemen are here.
They have to be in this together, and ultimately, it's John Gruden. You have to call plays in such a way to keep you out of third down and long, second down and long situations.
We got a long trip home, fellas. Let's make sure we go home with a W. If we play the way we came for the plan, we'll do just that. Let's get it.
Looking for win number 5 today, man. Stay tuned. Let's show them my silk contact.
The young rock star.
The young rock star.
What it is?
Lofting it up there. What a reach by Aguilar for the touchdown. Tom Brady and the Bucs will set up. Trying to cash in. Sneak from Brady, and he'll power it home for the touchdown.
And Brady does it better than anybody's ever done it, the quarterback sneak.
He gets his second of the year, and the Bucs answer back. Brady off the fake. Has time. Throws for Gronkowski, and he's got it inside the 5-yard line. Jeff Heath put a shoulder into him, but Gronkowski secures it.
Back it up.
Red zone chance, looking for Gronk, and he's got it for a touchdown. Back-to-back weeks, Rob Gronkowski finding the end zone, and the Bucs have taken the lead.
Run away, baby. Good answer, boys. Keep running the ball, dog.
Oh, pressure and a sack for Devin White. Just maneuvered around Josh Jacobs with no issue. Second sack in as many weeks. 50 seconds to go.
Nothing to worry about here. We're good.
Should be huge for the Raiders to get a stop. And it is caught for a touchdown.
Got it too high. We're showing this man a lot. Ready to go squirt. Ready to go squirt.
Nobody's stopping that.
Field goal by Suckup will keep it at a 2-touchdown game. 24-10, Tampa Bay on top. And now Carr has Aguilar. It's caught inside the 5. Quick throw, slant, Waller, touchdown. Darren Waller with his third of the year. They got the mismatch and took advantage, and things getting a little bit heated now between these two teams. For Godwin. Hold in for the touchdown. A clutch score for Chris Godwin of the Bucs.
You know the guys. Let's get it. You call TP all in the Bucs. Let's get it. All in the Bucs, baby. 1, 2. Let's go, baby. I'm going to toe drag. You feel me? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Playing corner. Big drive for Carr and the Raiders. And it's off the hands of Aguilar and taken away by Antoine Winfield. First career interception for the outstanding rookie, and he takes it to the 24-yard line.
Yes, sir. I told you. I told you. It was coming today.
Brady back of the end zone for Tyler Johnson, and he hauls it in for a touchdown. After a sluggish start this year, it felt like they seemingly look sharper and sharper each week.
Anytime you hang 45 on somebody.
And what a week that was, and hopefully we're going to go, piggyback right off, the finish we had last week. And, this is the kind of game that you cannot have a letdown. These are the games, where it's really easy to think about what's presenting itself next week with, obviously, the New Orleans Saints on Sunday night primetime as well. This is one of those games you need to forget that and just concentrate on the game at hand. And this isn't a game you want to go out and win. This is a game you want to go out and destroy the opponent and show people how real you really are. You don't want to win by 3. You want to win. A W's a W. We'll take it. But at the end of the day, this is the one you want to go out and you want to have a convincing win. And, I think they'll do that, and we'll talk more about that. But before we get to, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Giants, I want to talk about this incident that happened in the New Orleans Saints game yesterday versus Javon Wims. I believe it's Javon Wims and C.J. Gardner-Johnson of the New Orleans Saints. And, when you want to talk about, things that should not be allowed in football, things that we need to get out of the game of football, it isn't the hard hits. It isn't the great contact. It's the stupidity like I'm about to show you in a moment when it comes to this guy who is definitely, shouldn't be in the game. And it came out earlier today that he was suspended 2 games. But if you ask me, here's a guy that deliberately hit another guy, punched him in the helmet, ripped off his chain, and should have massive penalties coming to him besides a 2-game suspension. You remember last year when Myles Garrett ripped off the helmet of Mason Rudolph and almost hit him in the head. He missed him, but he swung at it with him, and he was ejected and also suspended the rest of the season. Now, obviously, this wasn't a helmet, but this is a pure case of assault by Javon Wims and should not be dealt with lightly. And then when you look at the NFL and you think about a 2-game suspension, and now Wims is appealing that 2-game suspension, stupid can only be so stupid. But in this case, it seems like he's even more stupid than we can imagine. Let's go ahead and look at this incident from yesterday in the New Orleans Saints and Chicago Bears game.
So sure, this happened well after the play. I mean, it's over. The play's over. Whoa. I don't even know what that was about.
Well, they'll look at that back in New York.
Yeah, he may be gone. He should be gone. The guy who he hit was C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who had nothing.
Exactly. C.J. Gardner had nothing to do with this play at all, and then you just get this guy, Wims, that comes out of nowhere. First, Wims comes up to him. He rips off his chain, hits him in the face. Then he takes another swing at him. First of all, the guy has to be stupid enough to start belting a guy with his hand into his helmet, which could break his hand. But let's go ahead and look at this one more time for all you fans out there. This is the incident in the game.
This happened well after the play. I mean, it's over. The play's over. Whoa.
I mean, what is he thinking? I mean, how stupid can you be? That is stupid. And in my opinion, I love to hear other people's opinion. This is an incident that warrants, I would suspend him for the next 6 games or at least the next 4 games if you're asking me. You think about people that are suspended. They're suspended 4 games for doing substance abuse on their own body. Here's a guy who is viciously is beating up another guy on the field, committing a crime, committing assault, ripping off a chain, and he's going to get 2 games, and now he's appealing that? What are they going to do? Cut it down to 1? Bad look for the NFL. If they don't suspend this guy 4 games or more, I'm telling you, in my opinion, it's just a bad look for the NFL to allow somebody to go ahead and do something like this during a game that has nothing to do with a game. I remember 2 years ago, last year, Leonard Fournette of our Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when he was with the Jaguars, he got in a fight after the game. He hit a guy, and he suspended 1 game, and it wasn't even nearly as bad as this. Here is a guy who should be suspended indefinitely or at least 4 games. Love to get your opinion on it. And I'd also, for those of you coming on, love to welcome you on our new platforms. Several of you are out there. Several of you are watching. We're doing a special 7 p.m. time, obviously, tonight. And in about 5 minutes, we're going to go to a live phone interview with Charles Rome, unless he can go ahead and connect with us through video. But either way, we will have Charles Rome on the phone, the great cornerback from the Buffalo Bills. If you ever watched the Buffalo Bills in the late 70s, mid-80s, you had to hear this guy. 28 interceptions, one for a, he had an interception in every single game he played with for the Buffalo Bills in his first year. I mean, just some amazing statistics, which we'll go over about Charles Rome in about 5 minutes. So looking forward to have him on. But, and then we're going to go over this game tonight between the Buccaneers and also the New York Giants. Giants, not a very good team coming in. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers obviously coming in on a very big high, scoring 45 points against the Las Vegas Raiders. And I wouldn't be surprised tonight if they score a similar amount of points in this evening's game, which we will talk about after the interview with the great Buffalo Bill Charles Rome, which we are about to go to in a moment. But just some excellent things. I'm pulling up something real quick here, fans. So, there we go. Give me 1 second, please. Should Charles Rome be in the Hall of Fame? Charles Rome's Hall of Fame. So we will be getting to that in 1 minute.
Not in Hall of Fame.
Okay. There's what I was looking for. All right. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to call Charles. We're going to get him on the phone. We're going to do an interview with him, talk about how well the Buffalo Bills are doing so far this season, and we'll go ahead and get him on the phone. Let me start doing that, moving some stuff around. There we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor, thrill, and pleasure to introduce to you on the Frankly Speaking Sports Hotline. Let's welcome in former Buffalo Bill great Charles Rome. Charles, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good, man. How's it going?
Everything's going well out here. Hopefully things are going well for you. Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Well, thanks for so much for coming on. Sometimes the video will work, sometimes it won't, but that's why we go to the phone if necessary. So thank you so much for joining us live today on Frankly Speaking Sports.
No problem at all.
Hey, Charles, let me ask you this. One of the things they were talking about today in today's game in football, they were talking about the durability and the vulnerability of some of the players who play the games. And I was talking about some of the greats that played the game in the late 70s, the mid 80s when I was growing up. And when you look back on it, when you look at what you did as a Buffalo Bill, where you played in every single game in your career as a Buffalo Bill, how much more does that mean to you when you see nowadays guys are lucky if they can go a whole season?
That's a good question, man. I think for me, being able to play every game was something I always look forward to, and I conditioned myself to play hard and always play fast, and by doing all of that, I was able to have some longevity and not get hurt, and the way guys are playing today, the game is a whole lot different now, man. They have to pull up the hit. I mean, it's nothing like it was when I played.
Yeah, and no doubt about it. And, let me ask you about that, because it's something that really does, bother me a little bit as a guy that grew up when you were playing. And I remember you playing. I remember you playing with, great defense you had with the Buffalo Bills. I remember Bill Simpson real well and Smith real well. I mean, you had a couple of guys on that team. Bruce Smith was a beast. And when you look back at that team, and I don't want to make it sound like football players are wimps today, but is it me, or am I just imagining that it seemed like the players in your era might have been a little bit tougher than the players today?
You know what, and I got to agree with you on that, man. I mean, the guys, you can just look how, the difference between now and then. It's a whole different animal, man. things that they can't even do now, we could do back then. And I kind of wish like I had an opportunity to play now. I mean, like, wow, man, I probably could play 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Guys just, the game has just totally changed now, man. I mean, you can't hardly hit anybody the way you want to. And, the helmet thing is really a factor. And, helmet to helmet back when I played, it was legal.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how much does it, as a player that played back then, and you sit and you watch these games today, and then you see some calls where I guarantee you want to jump through the TV probably and strangle the ref and say, what the hell are you calling that for? I mean, how frustrating does that get, knowing that when you played, it was okay to, hit hard and hit hard, and not as far as cheap shots, but just hitting hard.
I got it. I mean, now it's really kind of for me it would be really aggravating because you would have to go back to techniques of form tackling, shoulder tackling. You'd have to go back to start doing those type things, and once you commit in the act of tackling, whether you lead with your head, you can't change that. So that is something that I think players nowadays have to work on as far as form tackling and doing the best that they can not to lead with the helmet.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk about this play. Second season, I think don't quote me, I think it's 1978. You're playing in the New York Jets. You intercept the pass for a pick six. What was that like?
Oh man, that's like one of the greatest feelings in the world, man. When you can pick one and take it to the house, and to go 85 yards made it even better.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and let me ask you, in conditions, you played at what? Back then, was it Rich Stadium, and I believe you were playing at back then?
Sure was, yeah.
How difficult for a player, now you played most of your career except for 5 games there, as far as in Buffalo, but Buffalo gets some nasty weather. How difficult was it for opponents to come into Buffalo and play?
Well, I'll tell you, man, it's really, if you're not used to that type of weather and playing in that type of weather, because Buffalo was really cold, and we love to get the California type teams in there and the Florida type teams in there, but any team that came in there really that played in Buffalo. And when it was cold, it was really tough for the opponent. And we practiced out in that stuff back then. We didn't have the bubble. We finally got one, but we didn't have the bubble, so we went out into the snow and we practiced out in the cold. So we were, hey, bring it on, man.
Yeah. And, I remember those years when you played real well, real vivid. I grew up in New York, but on the island. But I always tell people, I said, the worst team in the AFC East those years, for the most part, was really the New England Patriots. It was the Bills would battle the Jets and battle the Dolphins. I mean, you and the Jets had some unbelievable games that, meaningful games. I remember Richard Todd quarterbacking, Joe Ferguson quarterbacking for, the Bills, and, just some unbelievable games. And, it finally looks like, and, you're knocking on wood, how excited are you to see now the Buffalo Bills starting to be on top again in that AFC East?
Hey, man, you know what, man? It's been a long time, since the 4 Super Bowl years that they went, and hoping that maybe we could have got one of those, but it just didn't fall for us that way. But to see them now, we have a pretty good football team. If they play within themselves and try not to do so if they play together as a team, I think Buffalo's going to do well this year. They're 6-2, okay, and I'm looking for them to hopefully capture the AFC East championship.
Yeah, and it definitely looks, unless there's a major letdown somewhere, that's going to happen. But, a lot of people talk about it, and they say, well, yeah, the Bills are going to win it. Tom Brady's gone. Well, this is a team, the Buffalo Bills, that were actually starting to make their move last year. They were 10-6, right behind the New England Patriots. And I even think if Brady was in the East AFC right now, that Buffalo would still be challenging for that number one spot.
I think so too, and they even because I remember when the last time I was in Buffalo and I was and the Bills played New England, they almost beat them then, but it didn't work out. So even with Brady, even if Brady was there now, I think we would have still had beat New England on Sunday.
Now, let me ask you, how much does it mean for a former player, especially you that played with one team, pretty much your whole career, and when you retire and you're not playing anymore and the team lose? It's a two-part question. How much do you feel their losses when they're losing, and how much do you feel their success when they're winning, when you're a former player and you see what's going on?
Well, when they're winning, it's always good to be able to talk about my team, my Buffalo, and to my friends that I have now, and say, hey man, my team is doing the thing. But when we lose, man, it's always a somber day, man. It's a down day, especially when we knew we could have won that game and we end up losing it. It kind of takes me back to some of the times when we had it like that and we didn't win it. And so, the feeling is, it's being as a member of the Buffalo Bills, and I still think I'm a member because I still think I want to get out there and play sometime.
Right.
But when they lose, man, it's not a good feeling. We always think that we should have won that game if we'd have done some things right, if we, just would have did this and did that. But, it's the NFL, man. And any given Sunday, any team can beat anybody.
Right. Now, let me ask you, how much of a pleasure, or maybe a displeasure, was it playing on the same side of the ball as Bruce Smith?
Man, to have Bruce playing on the same side that I played on was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. We kind of had that side shut down as far as the run game is concerned. We wanted, me and Bruce always talked about it. We're going to make them run to the other side, to Mario Clark's and Darryl Talley's side. So, it was a pleasure playing with Bruce, man. And then, even after I left Buffalo, Bruce was still a beast.
Yeah.
He became even more of a dominant player. And I was glad to see that in him, man. I was, it was a big change for me to see Bruce Smith that way. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to play with him and be a friend, man, because, me and Bruce, I still talk to Bruce today.
Wow. So let me ask you this also, and I know I prefaced that a lot. You played in 151 games, okay? 23 interceptions, 493 interception return yards. We know about the one touchdown. We talked about it. 28 quarterback sacks, 8 fumble recoveries, a kick return, and, just an unbelievable career. Do you look back on the career and, now that you've had time to obviously reflect on your career, and do you ever think that you should be in Canton?
You know what, man? It's, I think everybody that played the game think they should be in Canton, man. I mean, there are certain types of football players that I don't know. I feel like I was a different type of athlete. I had longevity, played every game. Came from a small black college. I only played 7 weeks of college football, and made it in the NFL for a long period of time. And I think that should account for something.
Yeah, and like you said, you were a 12th round pick, I believe it was. It was like the 309th pick in the overall draft. And that's why they always say it doesn't matter where you get drafted, it's if you get drafted, because at least you get that opportunity to prove yourself. We were just talking about Tom Brady of the Buccaneers. We all know he wasn't drafted to the 7th round. Sometimes it doesn't matter where you drafted it, and I guess you're just a case of proof right there with the career that you had.
Yeah, man, and it's high draft choices is it's where the money at, but you have a lot of high draft choices that sometimes don't make it in the NFL.
Right.
But you have people that that you draft in low rounds, man, that are exceptional football players, and they got the ability to make the team, and they got the ability to play in the NFL, man. And they call them diamonds in the rough. You know what I mean? And I guess I was one of those shiny exceptions.
Well, you definitely were. Now, when you have a team that goes to 4 Super Bowls and unfortunately loses a 4th Super Bowl, and I'm going to ask you a weird question right here. Are you happy getting to a 5th one and losing, or not getting there at all?
Wow, man, that is wow. Going to a 5th Super Bowl and losing, that would be wow, I don't know if I could take that, man.
As you think of the great teams that you've had, it's amazing when you think of all the great players, and there's some we both know of that have never gotten there yet. It's just amazing. And you've been to the playoffs. You won your division, I believe, once when you were with Buffalo in the mid-'80s or no, maybe even earlier than that. But what was it like, the feeling of playing playoff football? You play the whole season and you don't have to go home now. Now you get to play another game, whether it's a wild card game, a divisional one, which you've been in both. What's the feeling like, playoff football versus regular season?
Well, you know what, man? That's what we play for during the regular season, man. We play to get to the playoffs, and then when we get there, man, it's like, okay, we're in the playoffs. We got to play the best football we can possibly play, even better than we played during the season. It's time for us to shine, man. Time for us, for all the ability that we've got, to come out and let it work for us, man. And going to the playoffs, man, it's nothing like it, man. It is for me to go to the playoffs. It was one of the greatest things ever, man. Of course, I would love to have made it to the Super Bowl, but it never happened.
Right.
But just getting to the postseason, man, you got a chance.
Yes.
All you got to do is win.
Yep. And Charles, what do you think of that now? Them adding 2 more teams to the playoff picture.
Wow, man, it just makes it. I don't have a problem with that. It just makes the playoff schedule just a little bit longer. That's all.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with you. I think it adds more excitement among the fans. It's in all the cities, and then it makes for better playoffs as well.
Yeah, it's not. Some people may like it, some people may not, but I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Well, the Monday night game tonight, it's actually the Buccaneers, which I am actually, right where I am right now in Tampa, Florida, are playing the Giants. And you see a division like the NFC East, which, will probably have a team that doesn't even go 500 winning their division, and another team that actually wins more games than them will not get in the playoffs. How How would you feel as a player knowing that a 6-10 team gets in the playoff and you're 10-6 and you don't make it?
Well, that's it happens, man, for real, man. Because you look at the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles,
right?
Division that they're in. Philadelphia has picked to win that division, man, and those guys have already lost 6 games.
Yep.
And it could be they could make the playoffs with a 9-8 record or 8-8 record. Everybody, other divisions, you 8-8's not gonna get you there.
Right, but do you think it's better having the divisions like it is now, or should they do an AFC and an NFC, kind of like basketball or hockey, where you just say, okay, the top 8 teams in each conference make it?
No, I think for me, I think the way they got it going right now is perfect. Yeah,
with the divisions and the division winners and everything.
Yeah, it's perfect, man. And then the guys get the bye weeks. Who earns the bye weeks, and sometimes when you look at it, the bye weeks hurt the guys that have the winning records, man, and they come back after the bye week, man, the rhythm is gone.
Yes.
That's the whole thing, and I got to tell you, man, if I was a playoff team, I'd rather just keep playing through,
Yeah, keep the same momentum. Because we talk about that. The team that's playing usually the best football going into the playoffs stays the hottest as long as they don't have that 1 week off. So, yeah.
That's right.
All right, buddy, before I let you go, do your Bills win the AFC East?
They're going to win the AFC East, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, right now the Jets, obviously, and the Dolphins are a team of the future. I liked what I saw in Tua yesterday, but I got to say that your Bills look like the halfway through the season that they're going to be the ones.
Well, the Dolphins are starting to play well, so
yep.
But I think Buffalo, if they continue to play if they continue to play the type of football that they're capable of playing, they won't have a problem winning that division. No problem.
Yep. All right, my friend. Well, I want to thank you so very, very, very much for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you on Frankly Speaking Sports tonight.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me on, man, and we can do it again sometime if you want.
I would really love to do that, especially towards the end of the season when we're talking playoff football.
Let's do it. No doubt.
All righty. You be safe, buddy.
You too. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That was Charles Romes, the great cornerback who played from 1977 to 1986 with the Buffalo Bills. What a great, great guy. He's obviously excited about the different things going on with Buffalo. And what a great player he was, and a great, great team that, he played for with those Buffalo Bills of the late 70s all the way to the mid-80s. Guys, listen to this. From 1977 to 1986. What is that, 9 years? 8 years of playing? 9 years of playing? He didn't miss one game. He's a cornerback. Tell me a cornerback in today's game that has gone 8 or 9 years without missing one game. You don't see that type of work ethic and that type of hard knocks football like they used to play back in the day. But we want to thank Charles very, very much for coming on with us. And, we want to go ahead. We're going to talk about this game tonight. Obviously, we got the Giants and the Bucks. And, I talked about this earlier, and I want to make sure that we really go ahead and hit on this. This is a game where the Buccaneers are going to have to come out, and they're going to have to come out ready to play. They're going to need stuff. You got to remember, here is a team, the New York Giants, that, 70% of the passes that are thrown against the Giants defense are completed. And, this is a game, if you look at reality, and if there's no letdown, Tom Brady should have his picking and choosing of which Halloween candy he wants tonight. This is not a very good New York Giants defense. The only way the Giants are able to even stay in this game tonight is if it becomes an offensive shootout between Tom Brady and Daniel Jones. Remember, Jones has a great receiving corps. You know, he has, who is it? Slayton out there. He has Tate. He has Ingram out there. Has a bunch of different players who are very, very good for the Giants. I'm trying to read a note here that I wrote. But here's a good Giant receiving corps. The thing is, they don't have a running game. Devontae Freeman is out. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is out for the season. So here's a game that you go into. You know you're playing a team that's not very good. How do you handle that? You have to go in that thinking that you are playing the best team in the NFL, and you need to go in with that kick butt attitude and go right at them and do not stop. You know, you got a big game next week, and a lot of times what happens when you have a big game for first place the following week versus the New Orleans Saints, you could be thinking too far ahead. And this is a game where I don't think Tom Brady will allow that. It's a game where you're not going to have Antonio Brown. You're not going to have Chris Godwin. The key to the game is no penalties and no mistakes, like giving up the football, the turnover battle. You know, you can't have Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette or McCoy fumbling the ball. This is a game where you have to play crisp football and not allow the opponent to capitalize on your mistakes, and you will end up being fine in this game. You know, remember, the Bucs are now 5-2. I believe the Saints are now 5-2. So, you know, this is a game where you can't think ahead. You got to be thinking tonight. You get into the MetLife, take care of your business, and come on home. But in reality, with this defense, you know, Daniel Jones has been knocked down over 20 times this year. The front seven of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should be feasting and drooling tonight going after the quarterback, Daniel Jones. I mean, it's going to be a wide open. The offensive line is not healthy, and even when it is healthy, it's not good for the New York Giants. On the other hand, the same thing works. Our offensive line, their defensive line is not very good. The Giants always is playing exceptional. Donovan Smith, Ali Marpet, Jensen, Kappa, they all been playing terrific on the offensive line. And this, you know, like I said, what should be and what happens is two different things. You know, like the old saying says, there is a reason why we play this game no matter who is on the schedule. And if we come out and we play like it's a regular team, we should do a butt whooping. But if we come out and just think it's all game because they're the New York Giants and we're the Buccaneers, we could be in for an ugly surprise, and we don't want that. You know, when you break down position by position and every particular area, this should be a huge game for Scotty Miller, should be a huge game for Rob Gronkowski. You know Evans is going to get double teamed tonight, but even their double team isn't that good. So, you know, it's going to be probably till next week. And I'd love to see Michael break out tonight, but probably when Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin are on the field before you start seeing Evans. So we'll see what happens there. A couple of broadcast notes, folks, that we do want to let you know. We have, obviously, Frankly Speaking Sports has another website called Bullseye. Bullseye. We named it Bullseye, capital letters. It's Bulls and then a space I. Go ahead and join it. It's on Facebook. It is on Facebook. It's called Bullseye. We follow USF Athletics. Every Tuesday night, we do a show on that platform called Bullseye. Bullseye, tomorrow night, we're going to have USF former great basketball player Curtis Kitchen is going to be joining myself and my host, Bradley Lewis Walker, tomorrow night on Bullseye. It is definitely, if you are a USF fan, you need to definitely join this platform. We do interviews every week. Bradley Lewis Walker and myself do a show every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. We have different athletes. We've had football players on. We've had Santiago Gramatica on. We've had Matt Grothy on, among other players on this show. We're going to have tomorrow night Curtis Kitchen. I believe next week we're going to have Tony Greer, the ex-great basketball player as well. So lots and lots of great USF alumni ball players coming. We're trying to get some of the women's basketball team. We've had Eric Hanman, the voice of the USF football and women's basketball PA announcer, on with us before. So a lot of great things on this channel. If you're already a member, have your friends join. If they're a USF fan, they need to get on this platform. And if they're on another platform, that's okay. I'm on other USF platforms. I get a lot of information from the other platform. Join us. Enjoy the show. And let your friends enjoy the show. Become a member of Bullseye. So we wanted to make sure we got that out there as well. Also want to remind you, if you are enjoying, in the last 2 days, folks, I'm talking Wednesday and Thursday of last week, Frankly Speaking Bucks, and also on Thursday night, we had record numbers of views. We were breaking records left and right. My good buddy from Crew Life, Rob Thompson's calling me going, holy cow, we had this many views, we had that many views. It was just an incredible viewship from all of you folks out there. And we want to thank you so very much for your support. That wasn't just, that was on Crew Life. That was on Frankly Speaking Sports. That was on Bullseye. All the different things we're doing to keep people informed of what's going on. And as you listen to me talk, you see some of the different platforms that are actually going on that Frankly Speaking Sports is now on, besides crewforlife.com. It's on Twitter at Larry Frankus. It's on YouTube at Frankly Speaking Sports. It's on Facebook at Frankly Speaking Sports. And then, of course, our USF show, which is our Bullseye platform. Please, folks, tell everyone about the different platforms. If you're not a member of one of them, join them. You will be happy. If you're happy, we got some amazing interviews coming up over the next couple of weeks that we are looking forward to doing. I won't give you the dates yet, but, we're going to have Curtis Kitchen, I already told you, tomorrow. We have a Buccaneer on, I don't want to announce it yet, for Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we're going to have former New Orleans Saint great Toy Cook. That's right, Toy Cook is going to be joining us, along with the New Orleans Saints beat writer, John Hendricks. Then Monday, we're looking to have former Major League pitcher Todd Stottlemyre on. And then, of course, Tuesday, that's next Tuesday, on Bullseye, Tony Greer. So we got some incredible guests lined up for our shows. So if you want to see them, it's free. It's free. We're not charging you $1 or $2 or $3 like some of those other groups. We are doing this for free for your listening pleasure. So please go ahead and join us. So what do we look for in tonight's game? Okay, in our last couple minutes here, as I go ahead and move stuff around, I want to let you all know that tonight should be a wide open game. This is a game, like I said, the Buccaneers should win. I just talked about that in depth. But, this is a game where you're going to see a lot of different people used tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady, you see him use Grayson, you see him use Hudson, you see him use Gronk, you see him use Brady, you see him use Tyler Johnson. I told everyone, and I know I sometimes say I told you so, but if you watch our show and you listen to us, you may think we know what we're talking about sometimes. We talked about Tyler Johnson quite often early in the season in the red zone, how he was a big-time player in the red zone in college, and again, we're seeing it now with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One thing I would like to see in this game that, really it was there, but it wasn't really there last week, is the running game. I like to see Fournette and Ronald Jones get going tonight. I like to see us get 150 yards rushing tonight on the ground and work a little bit on our game. But the one thing that did impress me out of the backfield last week, and I know, I haven't heard lots of people talk about it. I heard a few here and there that really dug into the game, is the amount of passes that Fournette caught out of the backfield. And I would look for Leonard Fournette to do that again today. Maybe McCoy a couple of shots. Defensively, the only thing that concerns me with Daniel Jones is the cornerbacks. I have not been happy. I have not made that a secret on my shows. I think that I like Dean. I like Carlton Davis. I think overall they do a great job. I'm a little worried about where the mindset of Sean Bunting has been. Murphy Bunting. What's going on there? Seems like last week he looked confused. He looked lost. I'd love to see him come out, have another big game. I mean, David's going to show up. White's going to show up. This team is getting better and better and better every week. I think if we can get this corner situation, a little strengthened up and a little more solid, this is going to be a tough team after tonight in the next 8 games. We go into New Orleans next week. I know I said let's not jump ahead, but it's a Sunday night game. Every single player, unless we have unexpected, knock on wood injuries tonight, should be back with us next week in the battle of the NFC South. So, folks, this should be a good test. Only thing I say is we have to come out and play this like we played the Raiders. We can't come out and play this team like they're the Giants, because they'll knock you on your butts and they will fool you. They know how to hang around in games, and this should be a game where the Buccaneers and the coaching staff does not allow this team to hang around. If they do, it could be a long night, because this is a team, it's a statement game. It's a game you go in that you should win big, and you need to win big. I'm not happy with a 3-point win. As much as it's a W, at the end of the day, yes, you play the game to win. But this is a game we need to go into. We need to dominate both sides of the football, play clean, crisp, smart, no turnover, mistake-free football, and come out of this game knowing that we accomplished what we needed to and be ready for next week. But first things first, tonight's game. Go in there, take care of tonight. After tonight, you can start thinking about the New Orleans Saints next week. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all so very, very much for everything you've been doing the last couple of weeks. Like I said, frankly speaking, sports from viewerships has been breaking all sorts of records, and there is no way, shape, or form we could have done this without your support and your continuous support going forward. Once again, for those of you that love our show and continue to watch our show on a nightly basis, Monday through Thursday, We will be back again tomorrow on our Bullseye platform with our USF show with myself and my host, Bradley Lewis Walker, tomorrow night. And we will have on the show, remember, former USF basketball great Curtis Kitchen. So we'd love to have you tune into that. Join Bullseye. Be a member. It's free. And get all your latest updated information on USF Athletics. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go out here with the win. We'll see you tomorrow on Bullseye, and then from there Wednesday night on Frankly Speaking Sports. Everybody, good night and be safe.